Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Kakegurui XX episodes 10 through 12. That's right, we're finally getting around to this. As I mentioned earlier this week, we are cutting out Sunday reactions from here on out. You may have noticed the change in the channel banner and stuff as well. And just as a reiteration, the reason for this is simply because I find myself a lot of weeks struggling to get those pre-recorded. Because I can't normally record on Sundays. I mean, I could go into my room and record, but it's never really that comfortable to do so in there. Either I have to sit on my bed, in which case I have no back support, and it gets really uncomfortable and even painful to sit like that for long periods of time. Or I would have to sit on my chair, which is more comfortable. But at the same time, not the best, because let's be honest here. If I'm being honest, my room just isn't comfortable. I prefer to sit out here in the living room, even though it's not like, I guess, the most nice looking, like for the background, like you see the printer and stuff back here, all the pillows and stuff. But it's like, it doesn't look the best for reactions, but I prefer it. Just, it's a lot more comfortable out here in terms of temperature, because my room, during the summer, it gets obnoxiously hot. During the winter, it gets obnoxiously cold. It traps in temperatures. That's one big reason why I really don't like recording in there, or even really going in there outside of going to bed. Yeah, like I'm pretty much never even in there unless I'm going to bed or changing clothes or something. But either way, so the point I'm trying to make is that I usually don't have time on Sundays, time or ability to be able to record. And so, and kind of the same goes for Saturdays. And so I try to pre-record stuff the most I can. Saturdays is a little better because usually my dad goes out on Saturdays to do stuff, but still. But like I was saying, I try to pre-record when I can, but I usually end up having trouble getting the Sunday stuff done. So I've figured that it would probably be better to just cut that out altogether. That way I can focus on everything else I need to focus on and not worry so much about that. But I'm not going to just cancel the series we were doing on Sundays, Kakegurui XX. So as I said, I was going to get to it sometime this week and just completely finish it out. Well, that time is now. It's Wednesday. We've got a couple other things to record, so I'm doing this first because I feel like I will get to those other ones because they're the ones of the day, and my mind will prioritize them even after I do this. So it's like I'm forcing myself to get to this one first so I don't put it off any longer. So last we left off, we had started this tower gamble. The president's personal assistant, I don't remember her name. I know the president's name, Karari Momobami, but I don't know the assistant's name. But either way, she challenged Yumeko to a gamble. And there are some pretty high stakes in this. They're basically wagering everything, the most important things there are to them. As such, Yumeko is wagering that if she loses, she can never gamble again. And the assistant is wagering that if she loses, she can never have any form of communication or connection to Karari again. Because I think it's very clear at this point that she loves her. Like, I mean, it's not saying it directly, but I think it's very clear that she definitely loves her. So it's like, that's definitely the big thing for her. And it's not just like, oh, she can't talk to her again. She can't even be around her again. She can't even be in the vicinity of her again. So this tower game, they're up there, they go to the top floor of the tower, the 5th floor, and their goal is to get all the way down by solving these puzzles to go through doors and trapdoors and stuff. They have to get all the way down to the 1st floor, grab I think it's a key or something, and then go back up to the 5th floor before the other person. And I think they also added in the stipulation that the loser will have to jump out of one of the doors that leads to the outside of the tower, which I don't know why those exist. I guess since the tower, they said the tower has no real practical use, it's just for this gamble. So I guess it's like the loser will have to just jump out. And, I mean, you could survive that, but it would very much injure you. Very badly. And at the end of the episode, we already had the assistant go through a trapdoor, but it ended up being the wrong one. And then Yumeko decides to open a door to the outside. And are not sure why. Because as I said, you could probably jump out of there from the 5th floor and survive, but you would get massively injured. So unless she has some way of jumping out, getting down to the bottom without getting injured, I don't know how she's going to do this. That would be an amazing trick, though. Like opening the door, jumping out, somehow getting to the bottom of the tower without injured. She'd be on the 1st floor instantly. And I guess there's technically no rules against that, because the only rule is you have to use the doors and all and solve the puzzles and everything to get down there. She would have still done that. I don't know. I do not know. I guess we'll just kind of have to see where this goes. Now, there's 3 episodes here, so this one, the way the series is set up, this gamble's probably going to finish off in the first of these 3 episodes, episode 10. And episodes 11 and 12 will probably focus on an entirely new gamble. Now, as I've said in the past, I don't think that this season is going to finish off this current arc. I don't think it can. Because the current arc is centering around this student president election. And there's just no way they can get through everything else they have to get through and finish that in the amount of time. There's too many characters left that are still unexplored, too many plot points, too many gambles that would need to be done. We still haven't seen the vice president's gamble with Mary. We still haven't seen that. And that was already built up, so it's like, I don't know if they're saving that for the finale, if they're doing something else. I don't know. But there's no way, it is not possible to finish this before the end of this season. And if they try, it's going to really be a bad ending to this, because it's going to feel extremely rushed and forced, and like I said, there's no possible way. I think they're going to leave it off and kind of continue it further down the line. Or maybe they're going to do kind of like Attack on Titan Season 3 did, and it's like, oh, they're going to continue Season 3 further down the line. And it's like they're taking a break from Season 3 for now. And Season 3 is not going to be like 12 episodes, but like 24, and this was just the first core of it. Something like that. I guess we'll find out in the future. But yeah, I'm excited to see where these final episodes go, at least for now, final episodes. So let's get on with this. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so before I get to the really damn good stuff, I do want to talk about the first of these 3 episodes, episode 10. So we see the finale to the gamble in the tower. We see that Sayaka has gotten a lot more confident about her standing, especially when she gets down to the bottom and Yumeko's not there yet. She grabs her lily and starts to get ready to head to the top when Yumeko finally does arrive. But then they have to go up. And at this point, Sayaka knows exactly how to get back up, basically, and she's completely ready to dominate here because she gets to start moving up first. So she starts climbing and climbing, getting up, and she gets to the top only to find that Yumeko's already there. And So we find out that there's actually two towers technically, because the tower itself moves, um, which actually really took me by surprise. There's a tower of sorts, a cylinder in the center of the tower, in which the staircase that leads from the first floor to the fifth floor is. As you had seen before, there was a brick wall where that door had been when they were on the fifth floor, and even on the first floor, that's what Sayaka saw as well. But we find out that the pillar in the middle doesn't move, but the tower that they're in moves with them in it. The only thing I can say is I don't know how they wouldn't feel that. Like, I feel like they'd feel themselves moving, but whatever, okay. But yeah, so they're moving around the tower, around the middle pillar, and so that's why the wall was there, because they had already moved, and they weren't facing the part of it that's, on the outside, so they could get through. So that's how Yumeko got back up before her. She waited for the tower to move enough so that she could get back up through just the center staircase. And she won. And all because of a fluke, because she had opened the door on the outside, and she did it just because she wanted to see the moon. But when she didn't see the moon there, like it should have been, that's when she realized the tower itself had moved, which is interesting. So Sayaka agreed to the terms, and so she jumped out of the tower. But because she picked the right door, she jumped out in a specific door. Basically, it was this loophole to allow her to survive, because they landed in this like big ol' she landed along with Karari, who jumped out after her, landed in this big old field of flowers that you could only land in from jumping out that door. And when the tower's in that position, that door, So it's the only way to survive. But I said it during the reaction, I say it here again. You're jumping from 5 floors up, 5 stories, basically. There's no way a bed of flowers would break your fall that much. Like, yeah, it'll break your fall to a certain extent, but flowers are pretty delicate. They're not like these big soft pillows or anything. Your body is going to fall on top of them and run right through them because of the force of gravity and the weight of your body after falling from that height. You're going to hit the flowers, yes, but you're going to push down, and you're still going to hit the ground itself. And considering, like, she fell on her back, she would have broken her spine and probably become paralyzed. And it's just like, there's no way that they should have been able to survive that. But, anime logic, I guess. But they survived, and Karari's basically like, yeah, we're strangers now because of this, but you know what? I'm going to invite you back. Because that wasn't against the rules, and I kind of was thinking, like, she could technically do that. So that wasn't against the rules, so it's like, yeah, she invited her back anyway. They became strangers, but it was kind of, you could kind of say it was retconned by Karari herself. She personally retconned it with a loophole. So in the end, Sayaka is, I guess you could say once again, her secretary, and everything goes on. But then it's these last 2 episodes of this season, or as I said again, at least what we've got of the season. It might be continuing with season 2 when we get more, or it might just go into a 3rd season. Either way. So these last 2 episodes, 11 and 12, were easily my favorites of this season. Since this season began, since Rei Batsubami was first introduced, I just liked her. Something about her design, something about the way she carried herself, the kind way she treated others, and the fact that she didn't seem interested in gambling. Yet I always kind of assumed that was wrong, and that she was hiding something. I didn't know exactly what by any means, but still. So we get this new gamble. A bunch of people are invited to this gamble, and it's an auction. There's a sponsor who has put up a shit ton of votes, and every round in the auction, 100 votes are put up. And then everybody's able to vote, and however many votes they offer is like contrasted with whatever they win. Like if the winner votes, or if the winner had bid 80 votes, they get the 100 votes, but technically all they're actually getting is 20. Because they're paying 80 to get 100, so their only actual gain is 20 votes. So we see it kind of goes normal at first, but then things start to change. We start seeing things get a little different and interesting. And then Yumeko starts to confirm something with the I don't remember her name. The neutral party, I can't even remember the name of the group. You know who I'm talking about. The people who wear the hoodies, who wear the kigurumis. Not quite kigurumis, but the animal hoodies. I forgot what the group's name is, but you know who I'm talking about. She confirms something with her, and then she kind of gets Rei to come out of her shell. We find out Rei's backstory, and we find out that when she was a little girl, she was part of the Batsubami family, which basically meant that she was a slave to the rest of the Momobami clan. Her branch of the family, her branch of the clan, was kind of seen as servile. Even as a little girl, she was made to sweep up the, I guess, compound or wherever they lived. It looked like this kind of like big ol' piece of land and everything that the clan probably owned, and she was made to sweep up. She was constantly looked down on, constantly seen as, property, because she was. And I mentioned it during the reaction, I despise that kind of thing. I despise slavery and people being treated as servile to others. Like, I have no problem with, like, working as a butler or maid or something like that, or a janitor or whatnot, because, like, you're choosing to take that job, and even so, like, people in those positions can be treated very well. I mean, look at Alfred from Batman. He's treated as a father figure to Bruce and stuff like that. But it's like, this is a case where it's forced upon them, where it's not their decision, where the Batsubami clan specifically here is forced into servitude against their will. They're literally slaves. And there's this one woman who we don't know the identity of, but I have a very strong theory. This one woman comes around and starts giving these like little gifts to all the kids. She sees Rei and says that she's cute and stuff, and gives her this really cute, really nice hairpin. And so Rei is like enamored with her because it's the first time anyone's treated her basically like a human being. Sometime later, we see that this woman lost at a gamble, apparently, and lost everything. Now, it's kind of stated that she was destroyed and broken, and used all of these, like, really heavy words. It doesn't, like, ever say she died, but it's a little bit implied that she may have died. And Rei felt really upset about this. So she cut her own hair and kind of made this pledge to get revenge on the Momobami clan. So this entire time, she's been working kind of in the shadows. Every time she's been nice to these girls we see around school and stuff, we find that she's been doing it to get these people on her side. so that she could gain all of these votes to be able to use as the sponsor of this gamble in one fell swoop and make sure that no one knew about it. No, it just happened very suddenly. So she's been working behind the scenes. She's been planning everything out. She's been working with the other members of the Momobami clan to kind of keep up the guys. And we've seen her a couple points in this season almost lose her cool. And it's always kind of made me think, like, what is her true deal? And we see here. So she's trying to become president because she wants to, well, simply put, she wants to get her revenge. She wants to, in this case, basically control the Momobami clan in order to, you know, get her revenge for it. But Yumeko ends up convincing her to take this massive gamble, by Yumeko having to offer up all of this like shit ton of money that she got from another gamble, and she gets Rei to unveil her true self. And I love how they kind of go with this Aizen transformation. Like I mentioned it during the reaction, but let me explain. In Bleach, the anime Bleach, or manga or whatever, there's this character named Sosuke Aizen, who, when you first meet him and everything, he's this really nice, loving, caring guy. He kind of comes across as one of the most likable characters in the show. But then there's this big twist at one point where he's killed. And so everyone is kind of freaking out. It causes this big trouble. But then it's revealed that he wasn't killed, that he faked his death. And it's revealed when he almost kills his subordinate who was working under him, this girl named Momo. He stabs her right on through and reveals himself. And when he's ascending to leave the Spirit Society, he goes through this like physical transformation kind of. He takes off his glasses and he slicks back his hair. And his hairstyle is now completely different. He's now wearing the glasses. He has this different look to his face. And that's basically what happened here. That's basically what Rei did. She took off her glasses and she slicked back her hair, and all of a sudden she's extremely different. Her hairstyle afterwards is even kind of similar to Aizen's. That has to be a reference. It has to be. Especially since she is an anime original character. It's very possible they could have based that transformation, at least, on Aizen. Excuse me. But either way, she's a completely different person afterwards, a lot more into it, and it's really interesting to see. But then Yumeko starts doing these wild bids. Excuse me again. She starts bidding 101 votes, which is crazy and kind of stupid, because it's like if you win 100 votes. If you bid 101 votes, you're actually losing 1 vote every time you win with that. And she does this a couple times. She eventually gets other people to start voting, most notably the Momobami clan members who are in the box above. And eventually then she starts voting 1 vote at a time. And everyone's basically at this point scared to vote as well. Or bid, rather, not vote. Scared to bid. So she starts winning 99 votes with only bidding 1. Because she bids 1 and wins the pot of 100, so she gets 99. And this is freaking Rei out, because Rei has agreed to stop voting herself, and she apparently did keep to that. But she's freaking out and throwing a fit and everything. And eventually, Rei has no more votes. Yumeko's won them all. So Rei has to leave. Rei has to close out, and since she was the sponsor, there's no more votes for the pool, so the gamble's over. But Yumeko then challenges Rei to one more gamble, a coin toss. And it's like, oh my god, that is so beautiful. The way they revealed the winner of it, though, was weird to me. Like, the fact that they had, it's like, oh, the coin toss, and then it goes to something else, and then it's like, oh, by the way, who won? And it reveals it, though. But so the coin toss, they decided to put up these massive stakes. Yumeko bet her name, which is really not like this big deal to me. Like, am I the only one who doesn't see that as this big deal? Like, Yumeko bets her name, which is like, okay. She doesn't seem to have any big connection to it. She doesn't seem to really care about her name that much. So I'm just wondering, like, why that's as big of a deal. And then on the other hand, Rei wagered the 3 billion yen that she basically had just gotten from Yumeko. So it's like, Yumeko, and Yumeko won, so Rei lost everything. Rei lost all of her votes and all of her money that she had just won. And Yumeko lost nothing, pretty much. In fact, she gained a shit ton of votes, and she still has her money. And I get Yumeko, again, is the main character, so of course she's going to win here. I'm still not sure that she's going to win the election, but she was definitely going to win here. But by doing this, it allowed Rei to kind of free herself and to become her own person. Let me see if I can find that part at the end here. I want to mention exactly what it says here. So we see Rei walking down, and she's wearing more feminine clothes, and I think this is a big deal because before this she was wearing the men's uniform. Like the long dark slacks, the men's top and everything. I guess the top is more gender neutral, but still. And that's why she's kind of always come across as very, oh, what's the word? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. Androgynous. Androgynous. She's always come across as very androgynous in terms of her appearance. I mean, obviously, until she slicks her hair back and shit in this episode, but still. So, she's now presenting very feminine here. And it comes across as more, like, freeing. Yumeko says, this suits her better, doesn't it? And then it shows this shot of her walking, and you see the smile on her face and everything. You see the pin in her hair. Her hair is styled differently from either of the two styles we've seen before. And it says, even invisible chains cannot keep a person bound forever, basically implying that she's gained her freedom, that she's become her own person, and she's going to make the best out of it. And that's awesome, because we're seeing how Rei is, well, she's Rei now. She's who she is. She's not an it. She's not a simple Batsubami. She's not a slave anymore. And now I don't fully know how this will work. I don't know if, I mean, she still is technically a Batsubami. So I don't know if, like, the other members of the Momobami clan will try to, like, keep her enslaved, keep her as a servant or not, but at least for now, she's free. And that's awesome. I don't know how, like, she's going to come back in the future from here. I don't know, like, how big of a character she's going to be from here on. Like, for the next season or the continuation of this season or whatever it ends up being. But I really hope she does, because honestly, like, at the end it says, today is the first day of her very own life, and I want to see that. I want to see how much she changes, how different she becomes. Because, like, honestly, she's become one of my favorite characters in this show. Like, seriously. I love a lot of the other characters, but she has become one of my favorites. In fact, I like her more than Yumeko. I really just I really love her character. I love her backstory. I love her motivations. I love her character arc, which has basically completely centered around her becoming free and becoming her own person, which is insanely connective with me. As a trans woman, I have had to go through that myself. Becoming who I am, becoming free of the lies that I've been told my entire life. And so, yeah, it connected with me. And I love her character. And, like, again, it definitely connects just on the way she presents herself. Again, she was very androgynous before, even almost kind of presenting masculine. But now she comes out and she's wearing a skirt and she's presenting femininely. She has the hairpin. And it's just like, definitely I can connect to that. And I mean, obviously she's not trans or anything. So it's not like there's like, it's not that like blatant of a connection, but still. I just really like her character and I want to see them do more with her. I don't want them to abandon her now that she's been freed. Especially, again, with that line, today is the first day of her very own life. I feel like that kind of requires her to be shown more in the future. But either way, this was a great finale to the series, and I'm really glad to have finally gotten to it. Or to the season, at least, not the series, to the season. Again, I don't know if it's going to have like a continuation for Season 2 or if it's just going to go into Season 3, but the election arc in general is not over, so we've got more to go. And I'm excited for it, and I probably will react to it when it comes out. So, in the meantime, though, tell me what you thought of these final 3 episodes of Kakegurui XX, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,